if I started my business today, it'd be very different than how I did in 2016 because it's 2021. We have a COVID world, right? So I would start with a store through a door model and delivery only and start with these ghost kitchens that you see popping up everywhere. There's a reason for that. And so, I challenge everyone to really start learning from all these businesses that are public because that's like where all the nuggets come from.
Brando, hey, let me tell you the truth. It's not about who you know, but who knows you. Brando, it's your story. You can rewrite it if you so choose. It's your life. You decide those moves. Brando, you want to talk about getting the bag? He built a 7-figure brand from scratch. Brando, it's the Brand Up Podcast, but you already know. Enough talking, bro. Let's start this show. Brando.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Brand Up Podcast. Before we jump into the actual episode, if you're enjoying the topics and strategies that you're listening here on the show, I wanted to share with you that I just opened up a few applications for the Brand Up Accelerator program. So if you're looking to take your brand to the next level, or if you're struggling to separate your personal brand from your business, or maybe you're trying to integrate it in your business and get more exposure, or if you're simply just searching for effective ways to build an actual client acquisition system, this accelerator is perfect for authors, business owners, and coaches and online entrepreneurs. So head over to www.brandupaccelerator.com to learn more and apply now. And now let's go back to the episode.
Brand up.
Jeff, man, so first of all, I want to say thanks a lot for taking the time to come on the show today. I've been wanting, I connected with you about 4 months ago or something like that in Utah at an event, and I was super impressed by your story. I knew you just from Instagram and places like that, but when I actually heard your entire story, I'm like, damn, this guy is really doing some big things. So super pumped for having you here today. And a lot of people from my audience may be familiar with you and what you've done, but I don't know if people really know the entire story. So the thing that really grabbed my attention was, so I know you've been a partner with Neil Patel. So in the digital marketing world, everybody knows about the things that he does and all that. And I know that you going from that business into building brick and mortar or like a local business at that moment. Right now I know it's all scaled up, but I want to know the story of that transition. Because I know it's a big difference of helping businesses grow versus actually building a local brick and mortar.
Yeah, absolutely. And then great to be with you. Thank you so much for having me. Obviously it was awesome getting to share a stage with you out there in Zion and get to hear your story and learn from you and everything you guys are doing. So thank you. It's truly an honor to be here.
100%, man. So let's go back to when you did that transition. So you were doing a lot of great things into marketing. And then you said, okay, so whatever it happened, if you sold the business or you just exited, whatever that it was, let's go back to that moment. And if you can share with me and the audience, like why and how that transition happened.
Yeah, my background is more serial entrepreneurship. I'm not a marketer. I'm not a restaurateur. I don't do one thing. I like to do new things every 3 to 6 years, 5 years. And so when I started the digital marketing company, I had just gotten out of the payroll and human resource business and out of a recruiting agency that I had started and sold. And so digital marketing was awesome. I wanted to work from a computer. I wanted the autonomy to work from anywhere back in 2012 and really generate revenue from these boxes that we knew were really turning into something. And so getting to work with Neil for all those years was great. He's an incredible guy, one of my very good friends now, and we're still very close. And obviously I'm so proud of what he's doing with Neil Patel Digital. So those of you who need services, go check him out because it's great. But realistically, for me, once 2015 happened, we had been doing it for a handful of years, and there's a few realizations that you get. Number one, if your heart's not really into something, you can't grow and scale as the business grows and scales. And so you get to that point where it's like, I didn't love marketing. It wasn't my passion. My passion is startups. My passion is innovation and building companies. And so for me, it was clear, hey, marketing was changing. Social media was becoming so much more prevalent. This is 2015. So you guys know this was Instagram was becoming something serious. And everything was moving from traditional computers more to the mobile devices and to online and to social media. And the age of the marketers that we were competing with was getting younger and I was getting older. And so, I looked at Neil and we were just like, hey, we want to do this differently. Neil was speaking a lot more. He hadn't started Neil Patel Digital yet. He had his SaaS companies, and it was clear that it was time for us to move on from the business that we had, which was really more relationship-based, helping brick and mortar companies make more money online, and then online companies make more money online through CRO and SEO and optimizations of all different kinds. And so sold off our clients, took some time off, was, I don't want to say semi-retired, but let's just call it that because I don't know of a better way to say it. And I was driving my wife and kids crazy, really trying to figure out what I was going to do with myself when I grew up. And my wife said, "You're driving me crazy. Go do something you're passionate about." So that was the birth of Everbowl. It was really just the concept of it's time for me to sink my teeth into my next project. I have a passion for superfoods. I have a passion for being your best self and eating in a manner that's going to promote longevity and allow you to thrive as an individual, because I believe if you eat good, you'll look good and feel good. And if you look good and feel good, you'll perform good. And if you perform good, you're going to get everything you want in life. And all of the three reasons why we don't do things on a daily basis usually stems from the fuel we're putting in our body. And if you think about like a vehicle or a car, if you don't put really good gasoline in that car, and I went and put chicken soup in the car won't run. And if I put bad gas, the car won't run right. And so if you take care of your body, it'll take care of you. And this is your vehicle. This is your mechanism to go. And so it also helps with the brain. You know, when you eat good, you think clearly and you sleep good. And so you have the ability to really attack the day. And that's the birth of Everbowl. So in October 2016, I said, you know what? Why are we killing ourselves with the food choices we're eating? You know, you realize that heart disease, stroke, obesity, cancer, diabetes, hypertension, like all of these conditions that are plaguing so many of us here in America and around the world, when you really understand it and you look at the science, 80% of them are preventable or delayable by lifestyle changes, movement and food. So if you eat real food and you move your body, you can delay or prevent 80% of these conditions. 20% of them are genetic, right? You're going to have them. There's nothing you can do, unfortunately, your genes are your genes, but 80% of them can be avoided and or delayed. Even if you have the genes, you can delay the onset of these conditions by lifestyle choices. So we know that. Why are we still eating badly and not moving our bodies? And so I wanted to attack the problem. And Everbowl, which is my brick and mortar restaurant chain that we'll get into in more detail, was the food component of that. And the word unevolved, which is on the back of my hat, is our lifestyle. And it's a single word I created. It means to move and eat the way you were meant to, live actively, and eat stuff that's been around forever. And so Everbowl's tagline is made from stuff that's been around forever. And so it's the eating side of the unevolved lifestyle, which is simply a way to be your best self. Live an unevolved lifestyle, move your body, eat real food.
Gotcha. No, that's an incredible story, man. And I love, number one, what you and also your brand stands for. So that's, I think it's so important that, and also, you know, putting the tagline and I know that probably took you a while, but also your background in marketing probably helped you understand much better the whole like market research and customer acquisition and all that. That's pretty cool. So you decided you started the restaurant, and then how long did it take you to bring it to, like, how many products you had to test until you actually came up with this menu that you realized, like, okay, this is actually scalable to the level that we can open up way more locations than just, you know, a couple?
Yeah. So, you know, my approach to entrepreneurship and startups is a little different. I don't do a lot of market research. I believe experience is the most overrated prerequisite to starting a company. And I really believe that the only way you're going to know if the market will adopt your product is to try it. So, you know, I was actually visiting a client in Poway, California in July of 2016, and went to a Smoothie King to get a smoothie because I eat these things before I started Everbowl. And the owner of the Smoothie King was literally taking like equipment out of the store and into his van and was moving stuff out. And I was like, "What are you doing? Are you guys closed?" And he's like, "Oh, I'll make you a smoothie, but this was a Wednesday. I'm retiring at the end of the week. I've been doing this for 20 years and it's time for me to, you know, retire." And he was an older gentleman, and I said, "Well, who's taking over?" And he's like, "I tried to sell the business, but no one wanted to buy it, so I don't know what's coming here." And I said, "Well, let me have the landlord's name and number." So he gave me the landlord's name and number. I reached out to her, and on August 2nd, I signed the lease. Didn't have a name, didn't have a menu, just knew that I wanted to use this location, which had been a smoothie shop, to introduce more superfood bowls to the world, and figured that, hey, you know what? He's been here for 20 years, so people already come here for smoothies, so they're already thinking about health. So all I have to do now is capture that audience that's already coming and then expand on it in my own way. And so we signed the lease and didn't have a name, didn't have a menu. and then started to reverse engineer what that was going to be. So from August 2nd until October 15th when we opened, really worked on all that stuff. 3 weeks before we opened, I had some friends and family come over to the house, and I made 50 different bowls and made sure that they graded each one and gave me feedback, and figured, hey, we'll figure this out. I mean, all those things are fixable, right? It's not like we're building a house where it's like you got to decide the square footage, you got to decide all this stuff. They're permanent decisions. It's a menu. It's very dynamic, and so really didn't lock that in. Really didn't want to tell the market what it was going to be. More so, I wanted to just get going and learn as I go. And so opened the first store in October of 2016 and signed the second lease in January of 2017 and opened the second store in May of 17 and this third store in September of 17 and the fourth store in October of 17. And really still was figuring things out. But one of the best ways to understand if you have leaks is to put water through the pipes, and I was all in. I mean, that's the key when you start a company is you either are going to be all in or it's not going to work because you're going to lose to someone who is. So I don't do things half-assed. If I'm in, I'm in. If I'm out, I'm out. And I was in, and so I was willing to put my own capital, my own effort behind it, and fail fast and fail big if I was going to fail, or succeed fast and exceed big if I was going to succeed. But whatever it was going to be, it was going to be all or nothing. And once we had our fourth store open, we really started to learn what we were doing as a business, and that was a whole year. That 16 to 17, we opened 4 stores the first year, and it really started to understand. Okay, we're seeing different markets. We're starting to understand how customers view us and what we're doing. And as I mentioned, when we met, what allowed us to do that was we also realized that the problems that people encounter in their businesses. Entrepreneurs fail to remember the key thing. You're an entrepreneur, right? Like, what am I? I'm an entrepreneur. I start companies. So when I have a problem, I don't have to worry about the problem. I can solve it by starting another company, right? So the first restaurant was really expensive. It cost me almost $300,000 to build my first Everbowl. And while that's not a ton of money in the restaurant space, if you want to go build 100 of these, that's a lot of money. That'll cost $30 million if I wanted to build 100 Everbowls at that price. And so that was a problem. And so I figured, how am I going to solve that problem? Why don't I start my own construction company called We Build, and we'll build our own stores, and I'll drive my costs down so I can build lots of these. So I did. And that really allowed us to start to grow in that year. So the first one, was really expensive, but then the second store was less, the third store was less, the fourth store was less, and I was able to continuously drive the price of entry down and reduce my risk and reduce my capital requirements to allow us to grow. So in 2018, our second year, we opened 1 store every single month and 2 stores in June and July, and went from 4 stores to 17 stores very quickly. By the second year, we were already at 17 stores. And all of a sudden, now we're a brand. Now we have growth, which excites and attracts talent. We have growth, which allows us to increase our buying power and reduce our cost of goods. We get to amortize expenses across 17 stores. Our advertising goes further. So you can solve a lot of problems with growth. And it sounds reckless to some people, like, are you crazy? Like you barely even knew what you were doing. True, but because we were able to put mechanisms in place to drive down the risk, I'm conservatively very aggressive, and that's the way I explain it. I don't do reckless things aggressively. I do conservative decisions very aggressively. So we're building a construction company. When I have a construction company, I need to give it business. Well, I have a restaurant chain. That's going to give it business. So each hand is feeding the other hand. And then the last component of my triangle was the food costs. We were importing superfoods from all over the world, and it was really expensive. You're bringing in acai from Brazil, and this acai is getting handpicked in the Amazon rainforest and then processed there and put on a boat that has to stay frozen and shipped all the way to California on boats. And then from California, it has to get trucked to a cold storage facility. And then from there, it has to get trucked to me. It's very expensive. And so went down to Brazil and really started working with the locals and the factory. And we started our own import company to import our own superfoods under our own name and our own brand, so we could reduce that cost and pass that savings back to our stores. So as we get more into the weeds of what we're doing, you'll realize that it's truly just vertical integration of multiple startups to solve the problems of the main company, the main flagship, which if you take it to marketing, because I know a lot of your audience is marketing, if you think about it, it's like I have a website and I'm going to do conversion rate optimization to improve the conversion rate. I'm going to think of top of funnel mechanisms to get more leads into the funnel, and then I have to execute on each step and improve my entire funnel process to get to end customer and then upsell customer, right? And then have an abandoned cart series and all the different things that you would do for marketing. I just took the same concepts and applied it to a brick and mortar business and said, okay, what are my congestion points in my funnel, right? First, on the build out side of the corporate side, I'm building stores. It's expensive. Inventory, product, just to get it there. And then you do the same thing with the customer experience. How do customers interact with your company? What are we doing there? What are we saying? What is our advertising? So, and that's why I say experience is the most overrated prerequisite, because whether you're a marketing company, a restaurant chain, like the business principles are the same, right? You have this funnel and you've got to attack each piece of that funnel to get the best output you can and increase conversions in this case, right? Which is get customer food and hope they enjoy it.
Awesome. I know. I mean, my wheels are just spinning to a whole different level now. Because I mean, the reason that the reason that I related so much with you when I heard your story in Utah, like before I started really going hard into marketing. So my first company was a moving and storage business. And then the second was a commercial cleaning company that I sold. And then now my wife has a beauty salon that we want to franchise. So when you just told me all these different things now, I'm just thinking like, how can she start her own brand, just selling those products to the people that are going to buy the franchise for her own salon. Like now I'm just thinking like so many different things. And you just said, and I remember in Utah, when you first told the story about the construction company, I'm like, damn, he really, like, you're not just hiring a couple of contractors to help you out with a project. Like, no, we build another business and then we feed the other one with customers for this one, and we just built a whole chain. I don't know if people listening or watching they understand exactly what, but this whole ecosystem that you've built, it's really impressive, man. I mean, you've done an amazing job in such a short period of time. Is it what, 5 years?
4.5 so far.
4.5?
5 in October. But thank you. No, I mean, listen, I'd love to take credit for all of the ideas, but really I'm a student. You know, I learned from all of the best companies that have done things before you. You know, you look at other brand, look at Amazon, you look at, you know, they've integrated so much. They have Amazon delivery and Amazon web services and all of this stuff. They were a bookstore. I mean, remember what Amazon started as? They were an online bookstore.
Yeah.
Look at McDonald's. You know, McDonald's is a burger joint, but no, McDonald's is the largest toy manufacturer in the world because they manufacture their own toys for the Happy Meal. So bigger than any toy company in the world, McDonald's manufactures more toys. So you might think they're a burger shop, but really they're the largest toy manufacturer in the world. They have the largest chicken farms in the world from the chicken nuggets. They do a lot of things that make them the biggest, even though you don't associate chicken and toys with McDonald's as its main business. You think of hamburgers and you think of Amazon and you think of this marketplace, but you don't realize that Amazon does more shipping. And I mean, Amazon was able to get the postal service to work on Sundays, if you don't remember, a couple of years ago. I mean,
yeah.
What they're doing with drones now and disruption on that context. And so, you know, when you start to understand that, like, Google is not just a search engine. Facebook is not really a social media platform. It's an advertising platform. Red Bull is a content company. You know, GoPro is a content company. They sell cameras, but they're a content company. And the bigger companies, when you start to really reverse engineer what they do, you start to realize that to be bigger, if you don't want to just have a lifestyle business, a small little company, and you want to grow, you've got to understand what you do and how you're going to do it. And one of the secrets I use, which I recommend in your space, whatever space that is, everyone can do this, is study public companies. The beauty of public companies for private companies is everything they do is public. So if I want to go look at what Chipotle is doing, every quarter, pretty much every 3 months, the CEO, the CFO, and their team has to do a update to the public market, and it's public. So I can go Google and I can read the transcript from the earnings call from Chipotle. They're going to tell me what they did in the last quarter that worked, what trends they saw that was working, what they're planning on doing next quarter and next year, and how they're going to do it. It's public information, right? Now, I'm not Chipotle and I don't have their resources, but if you look at Domino's and Pizza Hut, which is a great food example, pre-pandemic, they were about the same size. Domino's started talking about technology. Pizza Hut wasn't. Domino's is now here and Pizza Hut is now here. And you can go look at the stock price to see it. And now Pizza Hut's trying to catch up. Well, if you understood what Domino's and Chipotle started doing and Wingstop started doing before the COVID, they started investing in technology. They realized that they have to be a technology company. They have to improve delivery. They have to improve the app experience for users. They have to understand that the way customers interact with food now is through technology. And so they made an investment in technology. Well, that's great information for restaurateurs out there, right? Same thing with marketing companies. I mean, Sprout Social is exploding as a public company. If I'm in that space, right? I used to use Sprout Social. They were a product that I used back in my marketing days. They're a public company. I can learn from them. I can see what they're doing, what they're seeing, how they're doing it, and then understand that, yeah, I'm not their size, but that's an advantage for small companies, right? Small companies, regardless of industry, you have to understand your strengths, right? You're not huge. If you're not Amazon, how do you beat Amazon? Well, Amazon is a cruise ship or an aircraft carrier, which means if you stay in its way, it's going to run you over. But it takes a while to move. It moves slowly. To change course and direction is hard. Small companies or smaller companies, we're speedboats. Our strengths are speed and agility, which means I can try new things really quickly and I can get the hell out of the way if I'm about to hit something or if I make a wrong choice. So my little boat is going to do a whole lot of this while their big boats do this, and as a result of that, by learning and researching and understanding what the McDonald's were doing and how they do it. And then it's like, well, what can I take from me, right? How do I apply these lessons to my company where I am today? And so I read a lot. I spend a lot of time learning from public companies, even outside of my industry, because business is business. And what works in a brick and mortar restaurant will work in a cleaning business, will work in a nail salon, right? Even though we're different, vertical integration works for both of us, right? Your supply chain. Well, where did you said your wife has a nail salon?
Eyelashes.
Oh, eyelash. Okay. So she's importing or she's buying eyelashes. She's buying all the materials. Well, where do they come from? Okay, well, maybe they come from a big company. Well, they still come from someone. Can she not reach out to those manufacturers and get her own brand? So slowly but surely, she's building up her second brand while she's providing it. And if it's a good product, she gets to introduce it to all of her customers. And maybe they start buying it. And maybe other nail lashes companies start buying it. And then when you do franchise, they have to buy those products. Why not buy them from you, right? Why don't you create the annuity? And so you can learn all these things regardless of what industry. And that's why I think experience is the most overrated prerequisite, because we're in the information age. With an iPhone, I can figure out how to do so many things really quickly that why do I need to spend 5 years learning by someone else to learn how they do it? They're doing it the old way. If I come in, I want to do it with fresh eyes. I want to do it with a new approach. I want to take 2021 thinking. If I started my business today, it'd be very different than how I did it in 2016 because it's 2021. We have a COVID world, right? So I would start with a store through a door model and delivery only and start with these ghost kitchens that you see popping up everywhere. There's a reason for that. And so, I challenge everyone to really start learning from all these businesses that are public, because that's like where all the nuggets come from. And you get to learn from some of the smartest, best, most well-funded companies out there that are public. And so therefore it's not private information. You don't even have to be a shareholder. You don't even have to buy one share to read these transcripts. That's the negative of being a public company. It's free information and it's up to you to read it and then apply it to your own business. Yeah.
Apply to move fast. No, I love it, man. And I can see how, I didn't even know actually that McDonald's is one of the biggest toy manufacturers in the world. Okay. But I can see how you took some of the ideas that they've been using and then you implemented in, like, yourself building in your brand, building created a construction company and then building the actual stores and then going to the manufacturer and actually working with the local market over there and putting the product and the shipping. So I love that, man. I mean, it's that I took a bunch of notes in here and also, I can just go back.
It opens doors that you don't even realize are going to be there for you because
100%.
I'll give you a real example. As a result of us importing our own superfoods and bringing it in, COVID happened. We had to shut our restaurants down, but I have all this product. So I launched a direct-to-consumer website called Later Bowls, where we now sell our bowls direct to consumers. And we don't even need you to come in the restaurant. Kind of like a it's not subscription, but we're going to eventually go there. But you can go on our website, order our bowls, and we'll put them in dry ice and ship them to you anywhere in the country. Well, that doesn't exist if I don't have my own product. And then QVC, we're selling product on QVC now because we have our own products and we want to get into the home. And so I have customers all across the country and I have stores in 5 states, but I have customers in 40 states. And so all of a sudden, that whole business line, that whole opportunity is there because we import our own superfoods for our own brand to serve to our own customers through our brick and mortar stores. And I had no idea that was going to happen when we did this. But when you create these new lines, these new opportunities, so much new things can grow from all the seeds that you're planting in your business. And I mean, who knows? In 5 years, that might be all we do, right? Like, I don't know. It might be our biggest part of our business. And it happened because of solving a problem, which is my food costs were too high. So if my eyelash stuff is too expensive, I'm going to go direct to the manufacturer and manufacture my own, because there's a margin. Always remember, if you're buying it, someone else is making money on it. And so therefore that margin can be savings to you as the owner of the business, or you can make that profit if you sell it. But either way, it's cheaper to go direct. And the middlemen and middle women that used to run all of this stuff back before the internet, they were vital because you didn't have the relationships. But it's 2021. I mean, you can reach anyone at any part of the world, whether you're importing from, the jungles in Africa or the Amazon in Brazil or in China or in Chicago. It doesn't really matter. You can have access to people, and you have access to manufacturing, and you have access to direct to the source. So you don't need these companies. And for those of you who run middlemen, middlewomen companies and your distributors, I'm sorry, you used to make the most money. It used to be farmers and the people at the end of weren't making money, and it made the most to make sense. But now those middlemen distributors, they're getting squeezed out in this new small global world we're in. So my recommendation to you is find a way to add more value. Make it to where you're alleviating the problem for me and not gouging me on pricing, right? Lock my prices in to the point where it's like, well, I don't want to start my own import company if I can work with you and you make a little bit and I save a little bit, and it's a win-win because there's a cost, right? There's still a cost for me to go do that. I still have to put my own resources to it. So, it's just rethinking your business if that's what you do for a living.
No, man, I mean, you've shared some crazy nuggets with all the little things that kind of became big now, right? Like it's like you have, I don't know exactly how many businesses under one umbrella with one brand, or at least connected between them, but I see them as a chain, and that's crazy. And I think we can all learn from that model and apply it to whatever we do. Like, doesn't matter what business, everybody listening, everybody watching, doesn't matter what type of industry you're in, this can apply to that. And that's actually awesome. So what I want to know, is, so when you decide, like, okay, you've had 20 something stores until you decided to franchise, right? Something like that. I don't remember, 28 you said, or 20?
Yeah, 28 corporate, and then we franchised.
Got it. Now, what was the reason why? Because I know you could have, for example, licensed the brand to somebody else, but still could be the owner. It's a franchise model. It's still go corporate. What was the main reason? Is it really scale, or actually, I'll let you answer.
Well, the truth is, the rules on licensing and franchising are very strict. We can't license, unfortunately. There's just the laws in the United States. There's like licensing rules, and we'd be in violation. Everyone wants to license, not franchise, because there's less restriction. But it's under a very specific set of rules to license. That's why we franchise. But the main reason we franchised was originally we were never going to franchise, because I could build my stores cheap because I have the construction. I can provide food for my stores at a very competitive price. So why would we franchise? And then COVID happened. And I assigned COVID the responsibility for Everbowl becoming a franchise, because I couldn't travel anymore to open stores all over the country. People were losing jobs as a result of COVID and wanted to take control of their financial freedom. And I wanted to grow the brand faster than I could with all the restrictions. So understanding that and seeing how people really enjoy our product all over the country, and we had so many requests. I mean, we had over 500 franchise requests, and we've never even advertised about it. We figured, you know what, now's the time. COVID is the reason. So we launched it, franchising for the first time in March of 2020. And it really opened the doors. And we just launched a finance company. So we actually finance franchisees if they don't have all of the cash requirements necessary, because I'm going to build the store for you. I'm going to provide you the training. I'm going to provide you the food. I'm going to provide you the clothes. So why not finance you so that way you get open? And I obviously know your business very well because it's all from us. And so we were able to franchise. And this is what I think, I have a belief that if you can't be remarkable and disruptive, you shouldn't do it, right? I don't want to be a me too. And so when you look at our space and our competitors, if you go open one of my competitors' franchises, it's going to cost you between $200,000 and $350,000. Well, that's expensive. So we're able to offer franchises in the $75,000 to $125,000 all-in price, including construction, including training, including everything. So I'd rather you open 2 Everbowls than one of my competitors in your market, regardless of the fact that I think we're better. Take that aside, just from a CapEx stuff. And so we're able to disrupt franchising because I'm able to offer it cheaper and more effective. I've already spent millions of dollars in R&D on how to build these things. I've already invested all that capital. So why not we offer that back to franchisees and build our brand that way. And we're not just a restaurant chain. That's the other thing. We're a brand. A lot of the people in our space are just a name. You're buying a name. But with us, you're getting proprietary flavors. You're getting a proprietary brand. You're part of the unevolved lifestyle. You're joining our family, and we're going to disrupt and blow this up. And that's why you join us. And so for me, franchising made sense at that point, because now I was able to improve and expand the web of Everbowl fans and champions, help people take control of their financial freedom who were looking for ways to make more money and not have to continue to be an employee somewhere, and wanted to have that dream of running their own business, but maybe just didn't have the idea or all of it figured out. If you're like, hey, I don't need your system, start your own. That's okay. I will. Listen, if you want to start a competitor to Everbowl, I welcome it. Not just because we'll compete, because we will, and we'll battle it out on the battlefield, but also because as much as I want you to buy Everbowl, I really want to help people be healthy. And our why of Unevolve is the most important thing to us. So if you open in a market where we're not, and you're going to expand people's access to healthy food and help them be their best version of themselves, I'm a champion of yours anyway. And we'll go somewhere else until we run out of places to go, and then we'll compete. But we're not rushing to, as much as I wish Everbowl was on every corner, our main why is help everyone unevolve, eat better food, move their body, and be their best self. And so that's really it. And if I can do it and help people grow that movement by making it really inexpensive and affordable, we're going to do that. And if I have to finance you to help, I'm going to do that too.
Love it, man. So let's talk a little bit about the process of buying one of the franchises, or even more, because you just said something that so franchising, it's pretty foreign to me. I mean, I know, different companies that are franchise, but I've never bought one. I've never been involved into one. And to be honest, I don't think, I have a couple of friends that have some different franchises, but I never actually asked. But now you said a couple of different things. So how, if somebody wants, let's assume, I know you guys are not on East Coast, right? You're not on Boston.
We just signed some franchises in Florida, and we're in discussion in Tennessee and Louisiana and Georgia. And we just signed in St. Louis. We just signed a 3-unit coming.
Gotcha. Love it, man. So if somebody wants to get one of the franchises, or even more, right? What's the process like? What do you actually look for into a person? For example, if somebody wants to buy a franchise, but he doesn't want to be an owner operator, he just wants to okay, and I know it's training involved and all that, and I'm sure you guys provide all of those things, but what's the actual process? I'm assuming it goes through an interview process and all that, but I'll let you share.
Sure. Yeah. So you go to our website, you fill out the form, everbowl.com/franchise, and that basically starts the process. And really the process is you're interviewing us to see if we're a good fit to be an investment for you, and we're interviewing you to see if you're going to be a good fit to join our team. And it's two sides. We have more requests than we have franchises that we're going to give, and we're not for everybody. And I tell every franchisee I talk to, let's both find a reason not to move forward, and if we can't, then let's do it. And we're not selling you a franchise, because I don't need to sell it. And I'm not asking to sell you, and don't sell us on you. Really see if we're the right business for you, where you are in your life and what you want, and we'll see if you're the right operator to join. So that's the foundational part of our franchise process. Inside of that is a handful of steps. Obviously, you fill out application, you tell us a little bit about yourself, your current situation in life. You do a one-on-one with our Chief Development Officer, Brian. He'll call you or do a Zoom, and just to get to know you, it's more just, hey, let's see if we can make friends. I mean, the two rules at Everbowl is make friends and have fun. So if you're not a human being that we're going to be able to have fun with, and we don't think that you have that vibe, then you're not the right fit for us, and we're not the right fit for you. Assuming you do meet those criteria and you want to move forward and we want to move forward, you fill out a little bit more paperwork with an idea of what locations you're looking for, where, what part of the country, your business mindset. Do you want one store because you want to own and operate it? Do you want to buy the whole state because you have aggressive expansion plans? We do everything in between. And we find out what the right fit is and what the right market is for you. And we continue to have multiple calls. So usually there's between 2 or 3 Zoom/phone calls with Brian. A couple of them are short, and then a couple of them are longer, where we really get into the nitty-gritty. And then, assuming we still want to move forward and you still want to move forward, we give you what's called our franchise disclosure documents, which basically tells you what you need to know in writing. And you have to have those in your possession for a minimum of 14 days before you can sign a franchise. So that gives you time to read it. We recommend that you reach out to existing franchisees. If you haven't been to one of our stores, feel free to come check it. Read the reviews online, Google us, research us, do all your homework that you need to do to make sure we're a good fit. We're going to do the same thing about you. We're going to ask, some information about you as an individual, or your family, or your operator. And then assuming everything still looks good, then I'll jump on with them or you, and we'll do a Zoom together, and I'll get to know you, you'll get to know me. You can ask me questions, I'm going to ask you questions. And then assuming it still looks good from there, we send you franchise docs. And at that point, it's, do you want to move forward? And if the answer is yes, you sign the franchise documents, and now you're part of our family. And from there, it's a handful of different things. But the cool thing is we're a complete done-for-you service. So our owner-operators who do want to run the store, we're going to train you. You're going to come out to San Diego. We're going to train you here in our corporate office as well as in our stores. Then we're going to fly out and help you open. You're going to open your store. You're going to run your store. We're going to show you how to do everything. So basically, from turning the key in the morning to turning the key at night, from the administrative stuff, from payroll and bookkeeping to ordering product and having it all done to the build out, we're going to handle it all for you. So it is a turnkey system, but then you run your store. And for the non-owner operators, the more investors, if you will, who want to be absentee, we're going to teach you how to do that as well, because you're able to do both with our model. Both are fine. They have different benefits. You obviously make a little more money if you're in the business. You spend more money if you're out of the business. Both make you money, but it's just a different amount. And then it's just a question of, does it make sense? And I would say, we're not Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, I think, approves like 2% of all franchise requests. I mean, they're very, very, very small. We're much higher than that, but we're still less than 20% of the people that we start the process with get through the other end, either because we're not the right fit, or they're not the right fit, or timing's not right, or the expectations weren't right. Because the critical thing with franchise to me is both sides have to understand what success is, and we have to agree what that is for you and for us. And it's like, if your goal is to make $1 million from one store in 1 year, not the right business. We're not going to make you $1 million from one store in 1 year. If your goal is to make $5 a year in one store, we can blow that out of the water, right? So it's just understanding what your goals are, what your risk appetite is, what your background is, and what you're trying to get accomplished. And so when you look backwards in 5 years, and for this to be successful, what does that mean to you? And I want to make sure that we can feel confident that we can deliver that. And then again, that you can promote our ethos, because once you put on the Everbowl hat and sign our franchise, you're part of our family and you represent our brand and what we stand for. And do you believe in an unevolved lifestyle? Are you about helping everyone be their best self? If so, we're interested. If you're just in it to make money, I mean, to be transparent, we don't need you. And that's not what we're about. We do make money, but we make money as a byproduct of helping people unevolve. And so we're focused on our why, and we pick up money along the way because that's how it works.
Love it, man. And obviously, it sounds like a really cool model, and also a great opportunity for a lot of people that may just not be ready to start on their own and start everything from scratch and all that. Because it's everybody that hasn't started a business yet, it's definitely a process of getting everything into the right place, and even profitability and all that. Not even talking about marketing and stuff. It's just mainly the operational stuff. So awesome, man. If I know we're running kind of low on time now, so I'll end with just a quick question. If you would have to scale again, not start, like let's assume you are already at a couple different stores, let's say 10, 15, whatever. If you would have to take that decision again, and let's assume, I don't know, maybe let's pretend that COVID didn't happen, which I don't know if we can even really plan for something like that to even like in the next couple of years to go back to what it was. But anyway, would you do anything different in terms of scaling? So not starting, and I know starting could be different, but if you decide to scale again, like let's assume it's, we go back to 2020, COVID didn't start. Would you franchise, or would you scale in a different thing, going more on the product side, like selling more on Amazon and things like that? Because I'm assuming that's all separate from the franchise owners do not have access to that part of this, right? Like that's all a separate type of.
It is right now. Our future plan is to start giving geo-targeted sales back to the franchisee, so they get to recognize the revenue. We're not there yet. We don't have franchises all over the country, but eventually that's the plan.
Got it. So if you would go back into time last year, COVID, it's not happening. Would you still scale with the franchise model, or would you do something different?
Oh, no, I would absolutely. It's funny. So we have a private equity firm that invested in us in 2018, Saruya Private Equity. And they told me then I should franchise. And I told them, nah, we don't need to. And they knew I was going to get smart. They just didn't know when. And they figured I'd smarten up eventually. And they were right. And it took me 2 years to get smart. So, but it's just franchising is the right way when you have a model, especially like we do with a system, because we can grow a couple stores, 10, 12 stores a year. I've already sold 50 franchises this year. We're going to be growing exponentially faster because I can't be everywhere. My team can't be everywhere. We can't hire enough people fast enough. But having champions and business owners all over the country and all over the world who can open our stores builds our brand faster and makes us more of a name and a presence. And so as a result of that, I would definitely franchise. I would invest more, obviously, in technology and would have done it sooner. We have an app, but we're building a new, more improved proprietary app, doubling down on technology, stealing from the Domino's and the Chipotle's of the world, understanding where the industry is going and how consumers interact with brands and restaurants and what that looks like, and double down on delivery, because obviously delivery services are huge. Obviously, you can't erase COVID, but the key thing for me as an entrepreneur is always known that opportunity is created during crisis. It's actually not when everything's going good. There's not a lot of opportunity. I mean, if you look at any industry, like look at the real estate market right now, prices are flying, right? You can't get a good deal. Everything is overpriced. So what's the opportunity? The opportunity is to sell real estate right now, not buy it. When COVID happened, those are where big opportunities come. And that's where your skills or your capabilities as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, or as an executive, or as an employee, that's where you really get to shine. It's when adversity happens. And, I think there's a saying in politics, never let a good crisis go to waste. And it's true in business too. I mean, when these things happen, you get to refocus your business, you get to cut expenses. You really have to look under the hood. And those people who can dig deep and find a way, that's where real good opportunity comes. And if you think of some of the biggest companies, the Airbnbs of the world, they were born out of the financial meltdown of 2008. They didn't; those things don't happen but for that, And there's going to be immense companies that are created out of COVID. The world's different now, so we can't erase COVID. And I think it's important that everyone learns as much as you can. Be a student, because those who are the most successful are learning and not paying the dummy tax. The more you pay the dummy tax, the more you're going to be behind the people who are learning ahead of time. And you can't predict the future, but you can understand where the future is going if you start researching and reading and paying attention and look outside your market. I mean, that's the other thing that has really helped me grow over the years is, as I mentioned, I don't just look at restaurants because I'm in the restaurant space. I don't just look at digital marketing. Like if I owned a marketing company still, I would be reading all the quarterly reports from HubSpot and Sprout Social and all the publicly traded ones that are doing things in the SaaS-based, direct digital marketing stuff. I'd be learning from them. But I'd also be looking at restaurants. I'd be looking at, because who are your clients, right? If I'm a digital marketing firm, and I'm going to use that because I know you have a lot of marketing audience, who am I serving, right? If I'm serving clothing companies, well, I'm going to read and learn from the publicly traded clothing companies. What is the Gap doing? What's Lululemon doing? How are they thinking and approaching this? Because when I go sell to the people in that vertical, I want to talk the lingo. I want to understand and be able to add value. Say, you're coming to us because we understand the space, right? We know even though Lululemon's not my customer, I know what Lululemon is doing. I know how they're focusing on more of their technology and upsells and why they bought Mirror, and how they want to now take the clothes and apply it to the workout equipment to be fully connected, right? I want to start using that. And I want to know what Nike's doing. And I want to know what Reebok's doing and Under Armour's doing. If you don't serve those customers and you serve, technology companies, research them. But you can learn that. And that's the information that most people just don't use. And you're just behind. Unfortunately, you're not setting yourself up for success. And part of my success formula in life has always been success is a given. It's not something I'm worried about, because 2 + 2 is 4. So all I have to do is go get 2 and go get 2 more, and I have 4. So make success a foregone conclusion by doing the research, spending the effort, focusing on what you can in your business, and then if you can vertically integrate all of the things that will be your exposure points, and you build a moat around your company, and then you have something pretty exciting.
You're spitting some bombs, man. I think I'm gonna have to do a reaction to this interview to make sure I break everything down. Like my wheels are just spinning now. So, all right, man. I know you have to run out. So, number one, I really appreciate you taking the time to share all of this with us. if people want to, number one, connect with you, where would you like them to go?
Obviously, social media is the easiest. At Fenster Jeff, at Everbowl Craft Superfood. If you want to check out our main brand, Everbowl, you can email me at jeff@everbowl.com or connect@jefffenster.com. And yeah, our LinkedIn is also another great spot for those of you who are interested. I have 2 courses on LinkedIn. I'll send them to you for free. Just hit me up and can help you guys with relationships or scaling businesses.
Awesome, man. And if people want to, like, you never know, if somebody wants to apply for a franchise, you said everbowl.com/franchise.
Yeah, you can learn all about our franchising opportunities on our website, everbowl.com/franchise. Feel free to hit me up also if you do that, so I make sure that I know that you're in the funnel, and we'll make sure to take care of you as a friend of the family. So, but thank you. Yeah, we look forward to meeting any of you. And if you just want to peek under the hood, it's okay. We're always looking to meet more people, and feel free to try Everbowl. So we just launched our new website, so I'm going to do a quick plug: unevolve.com, unevolve.com. And now you can buy some of our swag and our merchandise. I have some shirts and hoodies and tank tops, and you can at least promote the unevolved lifestyle, even if you don't necessarily want to own an Everbowl.
I just realized I forgot to ask you, because you mentioned something about a clothing line somewhere down the line, and I forgot to ask you, when is the clothing line coming, but you just shared, so it's all good.
Yeah, we haven't really, it's soft launch, like we just put it out. The website just went live. So this is actually the first time publicly I've even mentioned it. I haven't even posted it on social media yet. But that's cool. We want people to experience it and try it. And I love the feedback. So if you like the gear, let me know. If you don't like the gear, let me know, and tell us what you're looking for, and we'll make sure we produce it.
Awesome, man. Well, again, thanks a lot for sharing all of that with us today. We'll definitely be in touch, because I might be even interested myself in a couple of things that you do. So we'll definitely be in touch. But again, thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Great to be on. Really appreciate it.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Brand Out Podcast. I hope you found this episode helpful, and hopefully you'll implement it, because knowledge without action means nothing, as we all know, right? Now, if you're inspired to build an unstoppable brand that conquers, sells, and implement a predictable client acquisition system, my Brand Up Accelerator program is here to help you do just that. So what we do inside the Accelerator, it's a 9-step process. So first step is, of course, we have to do an assessment and understand exactly where your brand is at. Do you need help with implementing it within your business, or you need help with separating your personal brand from your business? I think that's really important. Step number 2 is we do a little bit of goal setting, because we have to understand where we are, but then we need to know where we're going to go. Step 3 is we do a brand development strategy. Number 4 is the client acquisition plan itself, because we need to know how we're going to acquire customers, what is the offer looking like, things like that. Step number 5 is the content creation and also the platforms that you need to focus. Some people need to focus just on one, some people need to focus on multiple, depending how big the team is, depending, how many resources they have. Number 6 is collaborations and possible podcast connections. Number 7 is the sales process. Number 8 is paid ads, because up until point 7, we pretty much build the fire, and the paid ads, in my opinion, is literally the gasoline that you pour on top of it. And number 9, we implement and refine, because we need to understand what works and do more of that. So if you're ready to take your personal brand and business to the new heights, head over to brandupaccelerator.com to learn more and apply now. Thanks again for listening, guys, and I'll catch you in the next episode.